It's new at 6. The Colbert County Sheriff is furious with the state forensics lab, accusing them of dragging their feet to approve a test for DNA evidence in a murder case by an independent lab. John Johnson was stabbed over 20 times in his Colbert County home last December. The sheriff says they have possible DNA evidence from a suspect, but there's a problem. It's mixed with the victim's blood, and the state forensics lab said they can't separate it. Well, that's where the independent lab comes in. Way 31's Brecken Terry was in Tuscumbia and sat down with the Colbert County Sheriff to talk about his frustration and why the family is ready for answers.
The Johnson family tells me it's been agonizing knowing the person who killed their loved one is still walking the streets, and the sheriff shares in these frustrations.
How can anybody walk in and stab somebody 22 times?
Sue Johnson is still at a loss of words almost a year after her husband John Johnson's murder, and his killer is still on the loose.
When you're out, you're constantly wondering, is that the person that done this?
Colbert County Sheriff Frank Williamson says they have DNA evidence in the case believed to be a suspect, but the state told him they cannot separate the blood evidence.
They had our victim's DNA, and then they had a minor DNA that was there that they could not identify.
Williamson says they found an independent lab in Florida who says they can separate the evidence, but the state's forensics lab won't approve it.
He is of the opinion that they can't get any more than his people did with the state. So, you know, that may be the case, but we need to try it.
Williamson tells us they're getting no cooperation with the state.
They look at you, or when they say on the phone that they refuse to jump through hoops to approve this, this independent lab in Florida, is just ridiculous.
The Johnson family feels the same way.
As much state tax as we pay, and then the state can't help us get nothing solved and get a murderer off of the street.
Williamson tells me if the state continues to drag their feet in approving this evidence to be tested, they will seek court action to force the state's hand. In Colbert County, Brecken Terry, Way 31 News.
Thanks, Brecken. And we have reached out to the state forensics lab multiple times and have not heard back from them.